You have been marketing your coaching business exactly like that famous coach said. Heck, you even invested in their social media program. You even bought their high-ticket sales webinar system program. You paid them an obnoxious amount of money for this 90-day program that was supposed to solve all your problems, and it didn't. It's because their system is great for them, and of course is making them millions, but it's not necessarily designed for you. In this video, I'm going to share with you a simple framework that you can utilize to be able to develop that system for yourself. I call this three-part system as PSP. The simplicity of the system is designed so it can adapt to any coach's need. So irrespective if you're a new coach or a seasoned coach or a six-figure coach, even if you're a seven-figure coach, you can use this system to identify how is it that you are uniquely positioned and how is it that you don't need somebody else's system to work for you, because you can develop your own system based on the simple PSP principle. Step one of PSP is called problem. P for problem. This is where you identify what are the problems that you solve for your clients. See, most marketing models are designed around strategies of marketing straight off the bat. But the challenge with that strategy is like having the bow and arrow, but not knowing where to target. Unless you know what's the problem, you are just shooting arrows in the air. You're not actually hitting anything because the marketing strategy itself is incapable of deciding what the problem that you solve for your clients. So the first thing that you need to identify is what is the problem that you solve. Not why they should hire you as a coach, not that you should post 1,000 videos on YouTube, not that you should post 1,000 reels on Instagram, not that you need to become a TikTok star, but what is the problem that you solve for your clients? What are the 3, 4, 5 things that your clients really would like to talk to you about or would like to solve in their lives, and you might be that person that they need to talk to. Now, the key to finding your problems or key to identifying what problems you're going to solve is they can't be esoteric. They can be ideas that are clear in your head, but a client doesn't really use that language. For example, I've heard coaches that solve the self-actualization problem. Well, most of the clients don't wake up in the morning saying, you know what I really need? I need to be self-actualized. Well, if the problem is not clear enough for your client to relate with, they're never going to use that language, and they're not going to be identifying when you communicate that problem to them or when you communicate that you are the person that can help them solve that problem. So be clear and specific and use common words to be able to identify what that problem is. When you speak to a potential client or even a friend and they ask you, what do you mean by that problem? Well, you haven't clearly identified the problem. Take a little bit more deeper dive and make it very real and very relatable to a person that is talking to you that might be your potential client. That brings me to the second step, and that is the S, which is solution. How is it that you solve this problem? What are some of the ways that you would solve each of these problems? Again, the key being each of these problems. You can't have a catch-all. You can't say, I coach people. Yes, you coach people, but what is that specific tool? What is that specific strategy? What is that specific system that you will utilize to be able to solve that problem? If the problem is weight loss, do you have a specific plan, a specific workout routine, a specific way to deal with nutrition, a specific psychological way of shifting somebody's energy or an energetic way to shift somebody's energy to be able to finally address the weight challenge that they have? If you are working with somebody on their career, is there a tool, a strategy, a tactic, a playbook that you have that will help somebody elevate their career or elevate their business? If you don't have a specific path or a specific solution, more likely than not, when you will start communicating with your clients, when you will start addressing your clients' problems, you won't be able to fall back on a solution that helps them see how you are different, how you are unique, how you are actually capable of solving their problems. So if you're marketing just because you're going, well, I'm a business coach, and so, I solve all business problems. Well, guess what? You sound like everybody else. So get specific, not only about the problems that you solve, but also the solution that you provide. See, early on in my career, when I started as a business coach, my offer was very specific. I said, I only work with companies that are doing at least 3 million in revenue, trying to get to 10 million. Any company that was doing 3 million in the industry that I was focused on is usually considering themselves to hit a glass ceiling. They find it really difficult to break through that 3 million mark. They are also struggling with team. This is exactly why my solution was very clear. I help you build a team and infrastructure to go from 3 million to 10 million. I knew exactly what would be the solutions that I would deploy. So any kind of question a $3 million company would ask, I would have a system or a structure for it that would help them really get to their first 8 figures. So having clarity of your problem and your solution really puts you on an advantage than 90% of the coaches that are out there. But what really sets you apart is if you introduce the final P, which is payoff. Do you really have a very clear way for your client to know that their effort of working with you, their time with you, is going to pay off to a result that they desire? What is the payoff? What is the outcome? What is the big benefit that the client is going to experience if their problem was solved? If a company finally broke through the $3 million revenue ceiling, they would finally have faith back in themselves. If the probability of them breaking that ceiling the first year of work with me was about 50%, they are very likely and excited to want to work with me. Because now I can guarantee about 50% chance that they would actually break the glass ceiling. And at the same point of time, I'm also giving them faith back in themselves because they've been stuck in that glass ceiling forever. And finally, there's somebody who comes along and says, yeah, absolutely, I can help you build a business that will break that $3 million ceiling. And fortunately, I had a 95% success rate of helping companies go from 3 billion to their first 5 million and to their 10 million in the first 3 years of working with me. And that kind of payoff is very easy to enroll in. So when you are working with your clients, understand that it's not only that you understand their problem and that you understand that how you would solve that problem, but what does it mean for them? What is the payoff for them? Either in monetary terms, either in personal growth terms, either in health terms. What does that payoff mean? How does it feel? How does that emotion land? How does that feeling land? How does that actual rational self land when they are on the other end of that problem, when they have actually experienced the payoff of working with you? See, when you're marketing your services, you're really only marketing the problem and the payoff. The solution is usually the uniqueness that you bring to the table. Is that unique way of you working with your clients, that unique strategy, the unique perspective, the unique contrarian thinking, the unique way of looking at the world that is only available to you, that allows for you to distinguish yourself from the marketplace, but at the same point of time, be incredibly valuable and desirable to your clients. Now that you have a great understanding of how to market yourself, you might be looking for ways to really grow your coaching business. So in my next video, I'm going to give you 5 simple ways that you can use to grow your coaching business this year.